Okay, it's working, I believe. Cool. I'll probably wait a moment and see if anybody pops in here. I've got this recording. I will edit it out the first part. So when I begin, I'll upload it to YouTube. What's up, Cal? How are you feeling? It's like the chat's all screwy. It'll be alright, though. I'm going to record this for later and I'm going to cut it and edit it a little bit so it's not so drawn out. We got everything we need here. Okay, if you can see, this says this is a number 1, whatever that means. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's a little blurry. Anyway, it's a red screwdriver. It's got like some kind of bullseye mark and a number 1 on the back of it. So it's not coming through on the camera for whatever reason. Howdy, Justine. How are you feeling? Never noticed that before. Number 1. I'll have to get a picture of it. It's not showing up on here. Whatever reason. Okay. I'm actually having to reach through my tripod to make this shot possible. Number 1 red screwdriver. It's got a little bevel thing at the end so it turns easier. But I have to Google it or something, but this is the most optimum screwdriver by far. Is a screwdriver in flat or crosshead? Let's get a close up on that if possible. Maybe not too close. It's not a flathead. There we go. But this one really gets the job done. It's magnetic as well. Oh, it's being difficult. I'll do that screw last. Some of these screws are not great, especially the ones that are not in my main controller. This is not my main controller. Wouldn't it be funny if I couldn't even get it open? They can become stripped out, and that's not a good thing. We'll just have to open up another controller. Okay, this one's going now. If you take care of your screws and don't use the wrong screwdriver like I've used in the past, you won't have this issue. But it shouldn't be this big of a problem. There's definitely a reason. I don't use this pad. Well, and this something. May have to open up my actual good pad. Hello, Fireball. Well, I was gonna open up this pad, but the screws are too stripped out. I get my pension. Really didn't want to open up my good pad, but that's looks like that's where we're going with this. Maybe not. Let's try this one. If I don't knock everything down. This one just has one screw in it. Alright, let's just pretend we have the first one open. This does not have the R triggers in it, as I use it for spare parts. Okay, this just attaches like that. The top, you just pull it out, like so. Pick it straight up. Maybe loosen that. Okay, we have the inner workings of the actual pad. Here's the motherboard. You can see there's a little bit of wear right there. And this actually stuck to this. Anyway, remove this piece. You have the actual D-pad. You might can see it in the shot. There's a little ball there. You want to wear it down some. You can use sandpaper, whatever, to get it down just loose enough where you can left, right quick enough. It's good to take apart your controller even if you're not going pro MBT, just for cleaning. These things get dirty. This one has been cleaned. And always make sure to put the rubber gasket back on. I've made that mistake before. This is not the best example. Yeah, mail file is just fine. Something keeps trying to pop up on my screen. Cancel. But maybe you were putting it back together. Okay, say for instance you have a Super Famicom controller. You have the short cord. Alright. This may seem a little scary, but it's not really that big of a deal. You can replace or take this directly out of the motherboard with just a little tug and replace it with an actual longer cord. So if you have a broken normal SNES controller around, you can just take that out, and on the Famicom, which has a very short cord, you can get a Super Famicom controller for about $10 compared to like, and it snaps right back in. It's not that big of a deal, but just get. It's not that big of a deal. It feels like it's not going to come out of there, but it does. That kind of intimidated me about doing that kind of thing. Alright, place it back in. It's kind of silly that this one doesn't have the R triggers and all that. That goes back in there, that there, there. Boom. Make sure everything's lined up. Put the case back on. This one just had one screw in it. This one's magnetic screwdriver. I wish I had something to actually show, but yeah, this doesn't have the R triggers or whatever. It's fairly simple. And look, I didn't put the this gasket back in, so now the buttons are sitting down in it. Always remember to put your gaskets back in there. And above the R and L triggers, you'll see little gaskets like that. If they get worn out, you can just replace them with another from another controller. Sometimes that's your only pad issue, will be just that gasket is worn out. Needs replacing. Okay, I can do that. Bear with me. I'm gonna bust this one open hard way. Maybe we won't do that, but I'll go ahead and open up my actual good controller. So I would have to probably break the plate on this one, and I use this as my player 2, so I don't want to break it. But I might could use this as my player 2. Who knows? Who knows, dude? Who knows? Hopefully the motherboard bit would help somebody. It's definitely helped me convert Famicom controllers into more usable controllers. Yeah, it's not always obvious what that looks like. What he sounded like, it was like an actual an impingement of the actual mechanics of the trigger itself. Anyway, this is my pad I actually use Wasn't planning on getting into it, but here we go. It needs cleaning. The screws are actually rusted. And probably over tightened. Nah, it needs cleaning. Like, I need to actually clean this thing. And I can't actually show all the moving parts of a video. What have I done, you know? I usually don't have this good of a working surface when I'm working on a pad. Right, she is open. So make sure you always keep your screws or they won't get lost. It's been one of my big problems. Take her apart. Backside's not too dirty. Let's see in the main section. Getting just a little bit of wear. Motherboard there. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Actually, there's just some crud right here on the end there. Ugh. Get out of here. Anyway. This is what I speak of when I say if it's not this actual piece right here that's broke off, which it could be. Take that out. My right hand doesn't work very well. My apologies. Anyway. This piece right here, you can kind of feel it. And if it's not, if you don't have some resistance, if it's not giving off some kind of resistance, that can be your fix right there. If you're having a trigger issue, or R left, or R L button, whatever you want to call it. But the way Thompson was describing things, seems like maybe this actual piece is broke off. I hear of people breaking these buttons right here. Here's my actual D-pad. Oh, sorry, I wasn't even reading the chat. I'm gonna go back and pause the list. How hard is it to wear down the D-pad? Probably going to do it next week. How long does it take? It doesn't take too long. I wish I still had this other one out. That's how much I wear off mine. Like, that's probably more than the average person. I know it's hard to see. Yeah, it's not catching very well on the camera. There we go. That might be the best angle there. But I've used the same D-pad for like, it's dirty. I need to clean it for probably like 6-7 years. Yeah, it's gross. Just make sure it's level. You don't want one side of it to be more wore down than the other. You want it to be all, you know, a flat surface, but equally flat. And if you're ever having R trigger slash L trigger issues, you can take these plastic bumper pieces, and if there's no resistance going on, they're no good. Like, that can be your issue a lot of the times. The controller's not broken, you can just replace that. I have plenty of replacement parts. Just the buttons. It's very dirty. You need to just take it apart and clean everything. Yeah, this actual, what would be the gas button, is very dirty. But you see the color patterns here. For the famicom, you get purple and lavender for the regular, but you see the red, yellow, green. It tells you where to actually put the buttons. I don't know if you can pick that up on. You probably can't pick it up on here. What's up, Nate? Fireball, if I didn't say hello to you. Yeah, just the main thing is make sure you get it level. Like, for sure. Make sure you get the bump level. There's probably more off of this than the standard person would want. But for me, it's perfect. I just have to fit it in there a certain way. But for those that didn't see this one, I don't know how easy this one's going to come apart. Let's say you have, if you want to get a cheap controller, get a Super Famicom controller. The only downside is the cords are very very short. Anyway, to remedy that, you would take the cord out by just releasing it from the motherboard. This one may not come out as easy as the other one. It's probably not. But I end up breaking my pad. Anyway, you just really want to pull pretty good on it. And this one's not coming apart. But anyway, I did get a good shot of this earlier in the video / stream. Yeah, that one's in there. But you're going to feel like you're going to break it. And I'm not going to try to do that. So I don't want to actually break it. But it's coming, actually. Okay, you just have to easily keep tugging on it like you're trying to pull a tooth, I guess. I'm not a dentist. Yeah, just pull that directly out of the motherboard and replace it with a actual cord, and just fits right back in there. There's nothing super complicated about the actual SNES pad, thankfully, because I'm not very good with stuff, to say the least. That back together. Should be cleaning it, but I'm probably not. So always make sure to put these pads back in. Always best to take away 2/3 of the hemisphere, so I think that's a very good way to put it, Nate. See, the L trigger is out. Put that back in there. You can actually double up, like using an L as an R button, by just flipping them around. You might actually have to break part of the pad to do that. I actually need to put this back in there too. Yeah, most of the time with the R buttons or so, it's just this little rubber gasket. That's the issue. That's all it is. Okay, just the motherboard, putting it back in there is pretty much self-explanatory. Just lines back up. This piece. having issues. That's funny. Anyway. Okay. There we go. And this will go back on there pretty easy too. Make sure these bumpers are tight and down. If it's all in good alignment, it'll just go right back on there. Okay, there you go. You're good to go. Did I touch base on pretty much everything there? That is exactly right. And unless you plan on flat boosting, you could just swap one. Most people aren't going to flat boost. So exactly, you could just take the L and put it on the R. So you wouldn't even need another controller or extra parts. Yep, yeah, just switch it over. Yeah, there's not a lot to this. Like, I was so determined to try the MBT thing that I was like, okay, I've just got to, bear down and do this. I don't have anybody that can do it for me. I want to say the first attempt didn't go so great. I think I took way too much off, and I think that's the main mistake most people make. But as Nate said, it remove about 2/3. That's a good way to put it. Just make sure you have the right screwdriver because you do not want to strip these screws out. And as I was saying earlier, this is a number 1, and it has what looks like some kind of crosshairs on it. I don't know what to call those. I'll have to look it up and Google it and let y'all know. Yeah, I don't know. This is the best screwdriver, and the only time I've ever stripped out a screw is when I couldn't find this screwdriver. I was trying to use something else, and I was just too desperate to play. Just being silly. And try not to over tighten it, but make sure it's flush tight. When it doesn't no longer turn, it's good. And keep spare screws and such on top if you can. Yeah, do half and test, and from there, trial and error. Most people aren't going to want to take it apart again and again, but as Nate said, that's what you want to do. It's better to not remove enough than to remove too much. This is the perfect screwdriver for me. I don't know how to describe it other than it's called a number 1 with some kind of weird indentation on it. I wish I could get a better shot of it. I said I might try to get a picture. Let me get the actual light over here. I think it's out of the shot now. Nope. Not going to be able to get an actual shot of that for whatever reason. I don't know. I think I'd just be shit out of luck. So there are other screwdrivers that will work, but you're at the risk of damaging the controller or the screws at minimum. You don't want to strip them out, then you can't even get into the pad, and you have to break it apart, and then it's just spare parts at that point. But I don't know. I went through a lot of screwdrivers before I figured out this is the right one. But I'll research it, red number 1 with some kind of weird symbol, and I'll let y'all know. So I never noticed that it had something on the bottom of it. I don't see any other kind of indication of what size it is or anything else other than on the end here. I don't know. I don't know if I could sell it. At least until I could find another one. But yeah, this is it's really nice. It's magnetic. Helps you from losing stuff as much. But I don't know. 10 grand, come on. Yeah, I'd let it go for that. I could retire for that from the game. I wish I had an actual way to show how to shave down the bump. I mean, just get a nail file or anything. Sandpaper. Just make sure you do it evenly. That's the main thing. Do it evenly. I wish I could mod my actual SNES Classic pad. If it even works. Addison spilt pretty much a good portion of a coffee on it. Hopefully it didn't mess it up. You can still see there's coffee residue on it. On all the parts that matter. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, hopefully it works. I haven't tried it out. R button's kind of sticky. It's not a good sign. The D-pad is messed up too. Oh no. May have to find my adapter. They actually make an adapter for these pads that go straight from the cord to USB. I have one somewhere, I just don't know where it's at. And that's really the way to go if you want to play online and such. I don't know why I didn't realize that before I got another pad for the second time. I'm going to attempt to take this apart, but I'm not. They say you can't mod it, and I'd end up breaking something. Hopefully this pad's not destroyed. If you press any buttons on this thing, it starts responding. Like, stop it. Alright. Does anybody else have any questions or such? Like I said, I'll edit this and put most of it on YouTube. Or I might just put this all in one shot. I don't know. We'll see. My chat's all screwed up. I did this all spur of the moment. I don't know how to do anything with the stream. I'm proud I was able to get that big of a picture of it on the screen. But anyway. Yeah, I hope that answered anybody's question. Like I said, if you want a good controller, you don't want to pay a lot, and you already have a long cord, you have a broken pad, just get a Super Famicom on eBay. They're about $10 on average there, compared to like $25, $30 for a SNES pad. They're just as good. They just have a short cord. Like I said, just tug on that out of the motherboard until it comes out. It's going to feel like you're going to break the motherboard, but you're not. Like, I was actually kind of scared to do it with my good controller, but it turned out fine. Anyway, I guess we'll turn it back over to Meridian Prime now. Thank y'all for hanging out. I hope this taught y'all something. I appreciate y'all popping in. And I'll post the YouTube video when I get it up. for y'all's reference if y'all have any questions, etc. I hope it's been helpful. I don't think this kind of video exists, so it really need to be made, and I'm glad I did it. But more than anything, I hope it's a help. Alright, I can end